The apple pie fogged the rental car window as I rolled into the Scottsdale Golf Club. I'm Kayla Moss, 30 years old, and I'd just landed from Chicago to make Father's Day dinner. I stepped out with the pie, crossed the patio, and my brother looked up from the grill. "This year it's only immediate family," he announced, voice carrying over the sizzle. My mom grabbed the ribeye plated for me, scraped it straight into the Labrador's bowl, and said, "Nobody's expecting you." The dog lunged, I set the pie down, turned, walked back to the car, and that night I froze every single transfer. If you've ever had your own family, give your spot at the table to the dog, hit subscribe, and tell me your state in the comments. I read every single one. Gravel crunched under my tires as I backed out. The sound grated like teeth on bone, each pop pulling me farther from the house I'd never call home again. Headlights swept across the empty street, then dimmed as I turned toward the airport access road. 20 minutes later, the motel sign glowed ahead, vacancy in buzzing pink, the Y flickering like a warning. I pulled into spot 12, killed the engine, and sat in the sudden quiet. The dashboard clock read 11:47 p.m. My phone buzzed once, unknown number. I ignored it. Another buzz, then a third. I grabbed the duffel from the passenger seat, slammed the door, and walked inside. The clerk barely looked up. "Single cash," I said, sliding 320s across the counter. He handed over a key card without a word. "Room 108, ground floor, back corner." Perfect. Inside, the air smelled of bleach and old smoke. I dropped the bag, locked. The door chained it, then wedged a chair under the knob for good measure. Only then did I sit on the edge of the bed and pull out my phone. The banking app icon stared back like an accusation. I tapped it. The joint card transactions loaded in reverse order. Top line $1 and $200. Pine Ridge Golf Club. Annual membership renewal. Tanner's name in the notes. Next, $800. Vinoteca Elite. Case of 18 Bordeaux. Ruth's initials. Then $600. Prime Meats Direct. Ribeye bundle, 12 cuts. Boomer's vet tag scanned as proof of delivery. All charged today. All from the card I'd left in the kitchen drawer. My thumb hovered over the freeze button. Not yet. I needed to see the full damage first. Scrolled further. $320 Uber to the country club. $180 dry cleaning for dog hair on cashmere. $95 pet store chew toys shaped like credit cards. Every line a reminder of who paid for their version of family. The phone rang again. This time, the caller ID showed Rufus. I answered on the second ring. "Kayla." His voice cracked like dry leaves. "Where are you?" "Motel off 94, I said. "Near the airport." A long pause, then softer. "They didn't notice you left." I closed my eyes. "Figures. They're still eating," he went on. Dan carved the pie. Ruth fed Boomer the scraps right off the platter. Tanner's on his phone laughing about some investor call tomorrow. Not one of them looked up when the door shut behind you. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Good. You okay?" "No." The word came out steady. "But I will be." Another silence. I could hear the television in his background, some old Western volume low. "I saw the charges," he said finally. "On my statement, too." The meat order came through the family account. "I know. I'm sorry, kid. I should have stopped." I cut him off gently. "You warned me. I didn't listen." He sighed. "What happens now?" "Now I finish what I started." I stared at the screen, the 3 glaring transactions still glowing. "Freeze everything. Pull what's mine. Let them figure out how to pay for their own ribeye." Rufus chuckled a rusty sound. "That's my girl." "Call you tomorrow," I said. "Door's open if you need it." The line clicked dead. I set the phone face down. The room's AC kicked on with a rattle, blowing cold air across my knuckles. Outside, a semi roared past on the highway, Doppler shifting into the night. I opened the app again, finger steady now, and began drafting the restrictions one account at a time. Still staring at the charges, Kayla dialed Reagan. Reagan picked up on the first ring. The FaceTime screen flickered to life, revealing her best friend's face, framed by a messy bun and the glow of a laptop in a downtown high-rise. Reagan's eyes narrowed instantly. "You look like hell." "What did they do now?" Kayla exhaled, voice flat. "Tanner's startup fund. 150,000. It's tied to 3 joint accounts I still have access to. I need it gone. Tonight." Reagan didn't blink. "Screen share. Now." Kayla tapped the button and her banking dashboard appeared between them like evidence in court. Reagan leaned closer, scanning the balances. First, the operating account, 92 grand. Second, the reserve, 41. Third, the credit line, 17 cash advance available. "We freeze all 3, then pull the startup allocation before they wake up." Her fingers flew across her own keyboard. "I'm logging into the admin portal you gave me last year. Still have the credentials." Kayla nodded. "Good. 2 factors on your phone. Authenticate me." A code popped up. Kayla typed it in. "Freezing operating account," Reagan narrated, calm as a surgeon. A red banner flashed. "Restricted." "Reserve same. Credit line locked. Done. They can't touch a dime without your approval now." Kayla's pulse slowed for the first time in hours. Now the withdrawal. Reagan pulled up a wire template. "Routing number for your personal account," Kayla recited it from memory. "Amount 150,000 exactly. Memo, return of unauthorized allocation, Tanner Ventures, LLC." "That's ironclad." She hit submit. The screen showed pending, scheduled for 6:00 a.m. EST. "It'll clear before any bank rep clocks in. By the time Tanner notices the money's in your vault account. Untouchable." Kayla watched the confirmation spin. "What about the cap table?" Reagan smirked, dark and satisfied. "Already handled. I BCC'd you on the email I just sent to his lead investor, subject line, cap table collapse imminent. Attached the transaction history showing your name on every account. Told them Tanner's been diverting personal expenses through the startup. They're pulling the term sheet by morning." A new email notification slid down Kayla's screen. Subject urgent. Series A termination. Sender Westbridge Capital. Body effective immediately. All commitments suspended pending forensic review of fund usage. Reagan leaned back, arms crossed. He's done. No runway, no credibility, no safety net. You just burned the bridge he was standing on. Kayla stared at the frozen accounts, the wire confirmation, the investor's retreat. For the first time, the weight in her chest shifted, not lighter but different. Controlled. "Reagan," she said quietly. "Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank the paper trail you kept. Now delete this call from your history. Use the motel Wi-Fi, then switch to data. I'll wipe my end." The screen went black. Kayla closed the app. The room was silent except for the hum of the mini fridge. Outside, a plane roared overhead, destination unknown. Keycard beeped at 5:47 a.m. Kayla's eyes snapped open to the mechanical chirp, the door lock disengaging from the inside. She hadn't ordered room service. Pounding followed 3 sharp knocks, then a fist. Kayla opened up, Tanner's voice thick with sleep and fury. She rolled off the bed, bare feet on cold tile, and peered through the peephole. Ruth stood beside him in yesterday's blouse, hair pinned back, clutching a purse like a weapon. Tanner waved a crumpled receipt inches from the lens. Kayla cracked the door, 2 inches, chain still latched. "What?" Tanner shoved the paper forward. $140 in gas. "My tank was empty." "You froze the card mid-pump," Ruth pushed past his shoulder. "You're 30. No kids, money's for family." The words landed like a slap. "We drove all night to find you. Boomer's in the car, hungry." Kayla's grip tightened on the door. "Your dog ate better than I did yesterday." Tanner rattled the chain. "Unlock this. We're talking face to face." "No." She stepped back, pulled her phone from the nightstand and dialed 0. The front desk picked up instantly. "Room 108. 2 people harassing me at the door." "Remove them." Ruth's eyes widened. "You wouldn't." The clerk's voice crackled. Security en route, ma'am. Tanner kicked the base of the door. This is kidnapping our money. Kayla held the phone steady. It's theft prevention. Footsteps echoed down the hallway, heavy boots radio static. Two uniformed security guards appeared behind Ruth and Tanner. The taller one spoke first. Sir, ma'am, you need to leave the property now. Ruth spun. She's holding our funds hostage. The guard didn't flinch. That's a civil matter. This is trespassing. Walk. Tanner crumpled the receipt in his fist. You'll regret this. Kayla met his glare through the gap. I already did. For years. The shorter guard took Tanner's elbow. Ruth resisted purse swinging until the first guard blocked her path. Final warning. They retreated, Tanner muttering threats, Ruth hissing about lawyers. The door to the stairwell clanged shut behind them. Kayla relatched the chain, leaned against the wood, and exhaled. The room smelled of stale coffee and defiance. Security knocked once, gentle. All clear, miss. She opened the door fully this time. Thank you. The taller guard nodded. Happens more than you'd think. Checkout's at 11. She closed the door, slid the deadbolt, and returned to bed. The mattress springs groaned as she sat. Her phone screen lit up with a new notification: declined transaction $140, Shell station. She swiped it away. Outside, an engine revved tires, spitting gravel, then faded toward the highway. Rufus mailed a thumb drive. It arrived 3 days later, tucked inside a plain white envelope with no return address, postmarked from the family home. Kayla slid it open at her kitchen table, the black plastic drive sliding out like contraband. She plugged it into her laptop. A single folder for Kayla MP3. She clicked play. Rufus's voice filled the room, hoarse but steady, recorded in his old recliner by the window. Kid, if you're hearing this, you did what needed doing. I've been listening. Here's what they're saying now. A pause. Static crackle. Then Dan's voice, low and smug, captured mid-conversation in the living room. Peaceful, without her rules. No more spreadsheets, no more budgets. Pass the remote games back on. Laughter followed ice clinking in glasses. The track shifted. Ruth's tone sharpened, phone pressed to her cheek, pacing the hallway. She'll fund tomorrow. Always does. That startup check bounced. Kayla, I'll wire it double. 30 years old. No kids, she owes us stability. Her heels clicked against wood, fading, then returning. Boomer needs that new bed anyway. Click. Next clip. Tanner in the garage, voice echoing off concrete walls, pacing with his phone on speaker. Series A gone. Investors bailed after that email. Cap table's a joke now. 50 grand in the tank, and she pulls the rug. I'll lawyer up, freeze her assets instead. Tools rattled as he slammed a drawer. Family first, right? Silence stretched for 10 seconds. Rufus returned, breath ragged. That's the last of it. Recorded last night after they thought I was asleep. A cough rattled through the speakers. Dan's glued to the TV. Ruth's planning your return. Tanner's plotting revenge. None of them see what's coming. Kayla leaned closer, screen reflection in her eyes. Rufus continued. I've watched this circus 30 years. You're the fixer, always were. But fixers get drained dry. Fabric rustled, him shifting in the chair. Remember the summer you were 12, taught you checkers on the porch. You listened when I said protect your pieces. Never forgot. The audio warmed slightly. They'll call, beg, threaten. Don't answer. You built your own board now. A faint smile in his tone. Proud of you, kid. Final pause. One more thing. Mailbox keys under the mat. Come by when you're ready. Door's yours. End of file. Kayla ejected the drive, slipped it into her pocket. The envelope lay flat on the table, address label peeling at the edge. She stood, poured coffee, black, no sugar, and stared out the window at the empty street. 2 blocks away, a mail truck rumbled past, routine as ever. Her phone stayed silent. No texts, no voicemails. The quiet felt earned. She returned to the laptop, copied the file to a secure folder, then deleted the original from the drive. Backup complete. Rufus's words looped in her mind, not as echo but anchor. Outside, wind picked up, rattling the blinds. Kayla sat again, thumb tracing the drive's edge. Dan's ease, Ruth's assumption, Tanner's rage. Each voice a thread she'd cut clean. Rufus's final line replayed silently. Kayla's the only one who ever listened. She nodded to the empty room. First time in years the words felt true. Zell ping. Ruth, Ito 1:03 a.m. The notification glowed on Kayla's phone, cutting through the dark apartment. Sender Ruth. Amount requested $2,600. Memo emergency motel extension. Pipe burst. Boomer stressed. Kayla sat up in bed, thumb hovering. She tapped the details. Attached photo of flooded basement, water ankle deep around stacked boxes. Timestamp 12:47 a.m. She opened her messages. A string from Ruth, frantic. Tanner said plumber tomorrow. Water everywhere. Motel won't hold room past noon without payment. Send now. Another text seconds later. Family helps family. Kayla scrolled back further. Earlier that evening, Tanner had posted on social media a selfie at a bar, caption, "Deals on hold, drinks on me." Tagged location, downtown lounge, 2 hours before the burst. She opened the banking app, navigated to Zelle history. Last outgoing 0 since the freeze. Incoming requests this one only. The pipe photo zoomed in, clear water, no debris, no visible crack in the line. A garden hose lay coiled nearby, valve open. Kayla exhaled sharply. She initiated a new transfer. Amount $50. Recipient Ruth. Memo field, cost of the ribeye Boomer 8. She hit send. Confirmation flashed, delivered. Her phone erupted immediately. Ruth calling. Kayla declined. Voicemail icon appeared. She didn't play it. Text barrage followed. $50. Are you serious? Then this is cruel. Another Tanner's calling the bank at open. Kayla muted the thread, set the phone face down. The screen lit again, declined, request reversal. Ruth trying to cancel the $50 and resubmit $2,600. Bank blocked it, sender limit exceeded on frozen accounts. She stood, walked to the kitchen, poured water from the tap. Drank half, set the glass in the sink. The apartment hummed with refrigerator noise, steady and indifferent. A final text slipped through before full block, "You'll pay for this." From Tanner. Kayla deleted the conversation, cleared cache, powered off. She returned to bed, pulled the covers up, and stared at the ceiling until the glow from the streetlight faded. Morning came, gray. She woke to silence. No pings, no calls. The $50 sat confirmed in Ruth's account memo, uneditable. She brewed coffee, opened her laptop, and checked balances. All secure. The motel charge would bounce by checkout. Tanner's plumber tomorrow meant another day of water, another excuse. Kayla closed the lid. $50 bought a lesson, not a room. Credit monitoring email at dawn. Subject line, unauthorized inquiry alert. Kayla opened it, bleary-eyed, coffee untouched. New account application approved yesterday. Card in Tanner's name, but SSN matched hers. Limit $10,000. Transactions posted overnight. $5,200 at Riverwind Casino, chips cashed at 2:14 a.m. $4,600 at Tech Haven. 3 laptops, 2 drones, 1 gaming console. Delivery address, the old family house. She forwarded the email to Reagan with one line. "He's escalating." Reagan replied in 30 seconds. On it. Dispute filed with issuer. Police report next. Meet me downtown precinct 9 a.m. Kayla dressed quickly. Jeans, blazer, no jewelry. She printed the monitoring report, transaction logs, and her ID. The drive to the station took 12 minutes. Reagan waited outside, folder in hand. Inside, the detective took statements. Reagan laid out the timeline: frozen accounts, returned startup funds, Zelle rejection. Identity theft to retaliate, she said. He used her frozen data to open this. The officer nodded, typed. Fraud report filed. Case number issued. He slid a form across. Restraining Order Application, Civil Clerk's Office, Room 204. Kayla filled it out in black ink. Grounds: financial harassment, identity misuse, credible threat of further harm. She signed at the bottom, date stamped. Temporary order granted on the spot, served within 48 hours. Reagan scanned the document. He can't come within 500 feet. No contact. No new accounts in your name. Kayla pocketed her copy. Banks reversing charges already in motion. Casino holds the chips. Electronics flagged for return. Tanner's on the hook for both. They stepped into the hallway. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Reagan checked her phone. Issuer confirmed, account closed, balance zeroed. Fraud alert permanent on your credit. Kayla leaned against the wall. He thought this would break me. It broke him, Reagan said. Police knock at his door by noon. Order served with the report. They walked out together. The morning sun cut sharp across the parking lot. Kayla's phone buzzed, bank alert, reversal complete, $9 $800 credited. She showed Reagan the screen. Cleanup starts now. Reagan smiled thinly, and ends with him in cuffs if he tries again. Kayla nodded, slid into her car, and drove home. The restraining order folded neatly in the glove box. Fall leaves scraped Chicago sidewalks. Kayla walked past the old house on her way to the L station. A red foreclosure sign staked the front lawn, bold letters screaming, "Auction, November 15th." The grass had gone brown, uncut since summer. She paused at the curb. Tanner's LLC dissolution notice taped to the mailbox, state seal stamped across the top. Effective date 2 weeks ago. No assets, no liabilities, no future. Her phone buzzed. Delivery confirmation package from Rufus. She rerouted to the post office branch nearby. The clerk handed over a small box, handwriting shaky on the label. Inside, Boomer's old stainless feeding tray, dents from years of use, a faint grease ring still visible. A note tucked beneath. He won't need this anymore. Thought you should have the last piece. Kayla traced the rim with her finger. The metal cool, heavy with memory. She slipped the note into her pocket tray, into her bag, and continued to the train. That evening, in her new apartment overlooking the river, she opened her journal. Pen steady, she wrote. Portfolio rebalanced. Position 0. She underlined it twice. Accounts separated, investments shifted, credit pristine. No joint anything. No shared risk. The foreclosure sign flashed in her mind, the house, the dog bowl, the dissolved company. Consequences stacked like autumn leaves, dry and inevitable. Rufus's package sat on the counter tray, reflecting the overhead light. She lifted it once more, then placed it in a drawer. Not trash, not treasure, just closure. Outside, wind rattled the windows. Kayla closed the journal, set it aside. Buy Hawk family isn't leverage. She turned off the lamp. The city hummed below, indifferent and alive.